Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another film theory reaction. Yeah, and to say I'm surprised by today's topic is to be a little bit of an understatement. This is Step Aside Santa, Buddy the Elf Should Have Your Job. Yeah, so this is a theory about Elf, which, I mean, I'm not totally surprised that it's, a theory about a Christmas movie, given that at the time of recording, it is 2 days until Christmas. I'm more surprised that they're doing a theory on Elf, because, God, how many years old is that movie? Geez, 2003. Jeez. That movie is literally 21 years old. God. So yeah, I guess you really can call that a Christmas classic at this point. It's over 2 decades old. Jeez. So I mean, shock at the age of things aside, Buddy should be doing Santa's job. I mean, so the only way I could possibly think this could be going is maybe it's because, like, Santa's in the movie, the whole thing with the sleigh flying and Christmas magic is powered by, belief. Santa's sleigh can fly because children believe in him. And then he starts having trouble because people are not believing in him anymore. So, I mean, I could see it potentially being as, Santa not being proactive, not doing anything to, like, create belief in himself. Other than that, I really don't know. So I mean, I guess we should probably get into this then. So yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video link to my game theory reaction. And yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get into this then, shall we?
Buddy the Elf may have ended up saving Christmas, but someone else in this holiday classic is gonna end up ruining it. I'm looking at you, Saint Nick. It's time for you to hang up the hat and pass the reins of the reindeer on to some fresh blood, or otherwise, we can kiss Christmas goodbye. Oh, ho, ho. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show that always tries to be on the nice list. So let me level with you, loyal theorists. Christmas and the holiday season are my favorite time of year. I love the vibe. I love cold weather and cozy clothes and snuggling up on the couch to watch all of the Christmas classics. I'm talking Polar Express, Home Alone, Love Actually, The Grinch, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. And yes, I will die on that hill. Those movies came out in December and I always associated them with Christmas. Sue me. But
Okay. Very weird. But yeah, I'm definitely with him on the whole, I do like cold weather, I like cold weather more than I like warm weather because, well, when it comes to cold weather, you can always put more layers on. When it comes to warm weather, you can only take so many off. Though, I mean, it also doesn't help that, like, I'm really the only person that likes winter in my house. I mean, my mom, she has a thyroid condition. So she's just always cold, so that's why she doesn't like winter. Even in the summer, she's always cold. I think there's rarely a day I ever see her go without wearing, like, a bathrobe at the very least. And then there's my little brother, who just doesn't like shoveling snow, which, I mean, we haven't really had that much this year, so he's really had nothing to worry about. But, oh god, again, just going on to the Polar Express thing. Polar Express, it's my favorite Christmas movie, and also just one of my favorite movies of all time, just because of, the train, and also just because, like, so if you didn't know, the Polar Express is actually based on a real locomotive. It's Pierre Marquette 1225, it was chosen for, a very specific reason there, but I also just love it because it is, like, one of the most accurately depicted steam locomotives, just mechanical-wise, I've seen in a movie. It sliding across an ice lake and being able to survive going down a 90-degree drop aside, but, we'll just say it's magic.
probably the biggest Christmas hit of my generation was Elf. For the 1% of the audience who's never seen Elf, seriously, go watch it, but it's about a child named Buddy who, after sneaking into Santa's big bag of presents, finds himself up at the North Pole. He's raised by Santa's elves, and ends up believing that he himself is an elf. But, of course, that's a problem when he grows into his 6'3" human Will Ferrell body, and realizes that he can't quite do the things other elves can, or build toys as quickly as them. Once Buddy learns the truth, he's also told that his biological father is on the naughty list. But he decides to walk to New York City to meet him and get him back into Santa's good graces. Cue the comedic fish out of water comedy as Buddy discovers the real world, tasting perfume, going on an escalator, and not knowing to look both ways before crossing the street.
Like, the thing with my mom is that she also doesn't like Will Ferrell. I don't know exactly why. She said she just doesn't like the way he acts. Like she finds him a little annoying. I honestly don't see a problem with him. But she said that this is like the only Will Ferrell movie she's ever watched willfully because in this one he doesn't annoy her.
But here's the thing, friends. Did you hear what I just said? Buddy walks to New York from the freaking North Pole. That's an insane journey, and it's just the beginning of the incredible, borderline superhuman things we see Buddy do in this film. Honestly, it was enough that it made me want to run the numbers to see just how strong Buddy is, and let me tell you, this lovable goof is actually incredibly powerful. But even more than that, when you look at Elf and its story and how it interprets the lore of Christmas, because of these powers and how he views himself and the holiday, Buddy would be a better Santa than Santa actually is in this world. Yeah, you heard that right. Today we're proving that Santa messed up big time and that Buddy and his powers were the real solution to all of his problems. Grab your sleigh bells and mistletoes, loyal theorists. You're never gonna look at Christmas the same way again. And actually, on that note, real quick before we get started, I've always wanted to do a theory seeing if we can empirically prove whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I want your help to make that happen. Please go to the comments and answer these two questions for me. 1. What makes a movie a Christmas movie? And 2. Do you think Die Hard is a Christmas movie? We'll be using your answers as data for this theory in Christmas 2025. I would love to get your help on that, so...
Geez, okay, talk about lead time then. Okay, well, you know, I'll play along. You know, honestly, I mean, I understand the joke, but for me personally, I've never thought of Die Hard as a Christmas movie. I mean, it takes place during Christmas, at least I think it does. Actually, does it? It's been a while since I've watched the movie. Okay, yeah, so it does take place, well, during Christmas Eve at the very least. And honestly, that does, you know, fill one of my 2 requirements for, you know, a Christmas movie. You know, it taking place either at or around Christmas Eve. For me, the second thing is, you know, basically it being that, you know, Die Hard, you know, but also second is just, you know, for me, a Christmas movie has to actually be about Christmas. It doesn't have to be, you know, about Santa or magic elves or something like that, but it has to take place, you know, around the season. It has to take a part in, Christmas or, you know, holiday season has to be like a major part of the plot. You know, whether it's, whether it is like, oh, Santa has to save Christmas, or, you know, something more domestic like a family, you know, some like family troubles, and, you know, the Christmas party might be canceled. Ooh, Hallmark movie. So, I mean, that's my opinion on it. Okay, there we go. See if you can find my comment under the video and give it a thumbs up so that, you know, hopefully they see it in time for next year's Christmas theory. God, talk about lead time.
Subscribe if you want to see the answer. Thank you so much for your help, but enough about that. Let's hop into Elf. So first things first, to explain how Buddy is the fix for Christmas here, let's talk more about his powers. And let's start with that whole walking from the North Pole to New York City thing, shall we? Like, just on the face of things, this is an incredible accomplishment. We see Buddy set off on an iceberg, then trek through forests and atop mountains before arriving in New York. And yet he talks about this continental crosswalk like it's nothing.
I traveled through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest, past the sea of swirly, twirly gumdrops, and then I walked through the Lincoln Tunnel.
Like, give yourself more credit, buddy. That's a huge journey. Just drawing a straight line from the North Pole to New York gets a distance of about 3,400 miles, or 5,470 kilometers.
And you'd know the walk would be even longer because that's as the crow flies, and a good portion of northern Canada is just islands.
And we actually know that Buddy traveled further than this because he said he went
through the Lincoln Tunnel.
The Lincoln Tunnel is on the west side of Manhattan, coming from New Jersey, so he had to walk around the city first. Just for the fun of it, I wanted to see how long this would take Buddy because, I mean, of course I did. The average walking speed for a man is 3 miles an hour, meaning that it would take Buddy 1,135 85 hours or 47 days to get to New York on foot. 47 days of walking non-stop. And that's assuming the straight line and that he wouldn't stop to rest at all. Which, by the way, we know he barely needs any of because later in the film, when asked if he slept well, Buddy responds with,
I got a full 40 minutes.
Yeah, Buddy considers just 40 minutes to be a full night's sleep before he's fully rested and ready for the next day.
Which, I mean, like, I know he was raised by elves, so, you know, the elves in Santa's workshop, they probably work a good portion of the day making toys, and, you know, they're also elves, so there's the difference in biology there. But you have to think, like, even with, you know, just the tolerance of being exposed to that lifestyle for literally his entire life, you'd think that he would still feel some of the negative effects from that. Or is it literally just the Christmas magic that's causing all this?
Dude, I regularly operate on just 4 or fewer, and I'm just a sleepy little guy all the time. Yet Buddy is chipper
you need
and
to get
energetic
more
with
sleep
that
of that.
little man has just got insane endurance. But that's just the beginning. He's also got incredible speed. See, though the movie makes a point to show that Buddy can't make toys as fast as an elf can, he's certainly no slouch. In Santa's workshop, we see that the elves are making Etch-a-Sketches to give out as gifts. The daily quota for each elf is 1,000 Etch-a-Sketches per day, a number that Buddy falls incredibly short on.
I made 85.
Yeah, despite not hitting even a tenth of what the other elves can do in a day, Buddy still made 85 of these Etch-a-Sketches, a number that is still incredibly impressive. Remember, even though he's being held to elf standards, Buddy isn't an elf. We should be holding him to human standards instead, so let's think this through. While it's not easy to find out exactly how long it would take to manufacture an Etch-a-Sketch, especially by hand since the official products are mass-produced by machines in factories, there are videos online of regular people trying to make their very own DIY Etch-a-Sketches using the original patent for the product as instructions. And these things are complicated. There are plenty of moving parts, powders, and unusual materials that have to be placed precisely for the toy to work correctly. This is not something that you're going to be slapping together in 5 minutes, and yet that's exactly what Buddy's doing. If we assume that the elves have regular working hours, which we're going to considering we also know that they have time for leisure activities like basketball or singing in choirs.
You're the only baritone in the elf choir. You bring us down a whole octave.
That means that they're making toys for 8 hours per day. So Buddy's 85 Etch-a-Sketches in that 8 hours means that he's averaging 10.6 Etch-a-Sketches per hour, one every 5.5 minutes. And this isn't even taking into account that Buddy hit 85 before the end of the workday.
Actually, wait, so what does that mean if their quota is 1,000 per day? How many are they having to make a second? So 1,000 divided by 8 hours, that's 125 an hour, divided by 60 minutes. Yeah, which means that they're making just over 2 Etch-a-Sketches a minute.
So theoretically, that number should be even higher. Now, all of that is incredible, far beyond what a normal human could be able to do. But the thing that really brings this home for me, well, in one of the best parts of the film, Buddy goes to a Gimbel's department store that's decorated to look like the North Pole. The store is having an event where kids can come meet a mall Santa the next day, and Buddy gets very excited.
Oh god, yeah, I remember this.
However, Buddy doesn't think the store looks good enough to host Santa and decides to wait for the department store to close so he can decorate it the right way. And man, he goes all out. He nails fake snow to all the fake houses, makes paper snowflakes and paper chains, builds an LED display, a huge Lego set of the New York skyline, and even an Etch-a-Sketch drawing of the Mona Lisa, all in one night. One night! Department stores like Gimbel's in New York close at 9 p.m. and open at 10 a.m., so Buddy would have had just 13 hours to get all of this done.
All of that,
well,
yeah.
Technically, even less than that since he thinks Santa is getting there at 10.
10 a.m. tomorrow. Santa's coming to town.
But even if we assume that he takes the whole time, 13 hours is an insane amount to get this done in. Since behind-the-scenes information said it took the art department 2 weeks to build everything on this set. And when you break it down piece by piece, you can see why. First off, let's take a look at the Lego New York skyline that Buddy made. Now, there is an official New York skyline Lego set measuring 10 inches high, but this is much smaller than the one we see Buddy build. We're not going to be able to get a real estimate on how long it would have taken Buddy just looking at this official set. So, to get a better idea, let's look at a similarly sized Lego set.
God, that's the thing. Like, I know, granted, it's been a few years since I've gotten a Lego set, but even then, like, I remember it, like, the last time I got a Lego set, what was it? I can't remember what I got last time. But it took me a fair few hours just building it myself. And that was like one of the normal ones you get in the box from the store, you know, like that. So, I mean, making one completely custom, like master builder level stuff, I think that would, if I had tried something like that, you know, that would have taken me at least, you know, several days if I was being generous with myself.
The Eiffel Tower. This one measures 4.8 feet tall and is 10,001 pieces.
Hey, I have an Eiffel Tower, give me a second. You know, it's not as impressive as that one, and I lost the spire like a while ago. But you know, I think it counts. Also, gotta love the fact that it's 10,001 pieces. I swear.
Why they couldn't have found a way to lose a piece and make it an even 10K, I can't imagine. Anyway, this is still a bit smaller than the New York skyline we see in the movie, but it's also way more complicated, so I think it's a fair comparison. According to some reviews I found online, this set can take anywhere between 17 and 30 hours to build. More than a whole day just on this one Lego set. And that's with all the right pieces accurately labeled and clear instructions. Buddy had no guide and no proper pieces for New York. He basically raw-dogged this set. Even going with the lower estimate because Buddy probably is a pro Lego builder, 17 hours after closing time with no rest or breaks would mean that Buddy wouldn't get to finish his Lego set until 2 p.m., long after the store opened. Then there's the Mona Lisa drawing Buddy made in an Etch-a-Sketch. I don't know if you've ever played with one of these things, but just writing hello can be a challenge.
Yeah, especially given the fact that, you know, you're working with a single line. There's no way to, you know, so to speak, lift your pencil off the page and start somewhere else. So you have to do everything like connected and stuff like that. I never had a lot of fun with Etch-a-Sketches when I was a kid. I mean, I think I remember, you know, doodling around just like making messes and stuff like that. Actually, you know, thinking about it, I think I also tried filling in the screen just completely once. Like I was just going to like make it completely black, but I think I got bored and stopped after like a quarter of the way.
Let alone creating genuine artwork. But as it turns out, Etch-a-Sketch artwork is a thing, with talented creators making genuine works of art with the toy. This includes the YouTuber Princess Etch, who actually recreated the Mona Lisa herself. And this is how long she said it took her.
It took over 30 hours, but I have finally finished the Mona Lisa on a classic Etch-a-Sketch.
It took her more than 30 hours, and she probably does this sort of thing regularly. Definitely more than Buddy has. And just the icing on the cake of this whole scene, just making the paper crafts hanging around the store should have taken Buddy months working alone. Quicker than a single person should have been able to do in a single night, even if he was working fast enough the paper was just flying all over the place.
God, that was the thing. Well, I mean, I talked about it in a previous reaction, but a couple of weeks ago, as I said, I'm a scout leader, and our big end of the year scout Christmas party, our group for our last meeting before the party, it was just us leaders and a couple of scouts, and we were just making paper snowflakes to put on the Christmas tree on the stage. And it was literally, our meetings are like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And like, what was it? Like the 7 of us that were there, we made like 12. Granted, you know, the little kids had never actually created a snowflake that way before. So, I mean, they were, you know, doing it their first time, but still, I mean, this kind of, again, just goes to show.
Websites that have instructions for making a simple paper snowflake say it can take up to 10 minutes just for one snowflake. And we see hundreds of these things throughout the store.
And the paper
also,
chains.
Buddy actually pulls this stunt again at his father's home, with dozens and dozens of other Christmas decorations all over, probably made in even less time. It's crazy. But even if all of that isn't enough to prove to you that Buddy is some sort of superhuman, that he has some weird Christmas-themed power set with super endurance and super speed and maybe time dilation powers, this right here is irrefutable proof. About halfway through the film, Buddy and his stepbrother Michael are walking through Central Park when they're ambushed by bullies who throw snowballs at them.
Son of a nutcracker!
Buddy decides to fight back and tells Michael,
Start making as many snowballs as you can.
But here's the thing. In the 13 seconds it takes Michael to make just one snowball, Buddy has made dozens, at least 30 by my count, and they're all perfectly round and symmetrical. That means that he was making at least 2 snowballs per second, and that's just the start of it. Buddy then takes these snowballs and fires them off at the bullies, moving so fast that his arm is literally blurring. And this isn't some stylistic fast forward. We see the bullies...
It's a snowball machine gun. That's all you have to say. It's like so stupid, but it's so wonderful.
Moving at normal speed while the trail of snowballs is being thrown at them. All while Buddy is moving at superhuman speeds and pivoting on a dime. And on top of that, his aim is even dead on. Buddy basically 360 no-scopes these guys with no hesitation.
Jeez, I mean, you have to wonder if this is what a diet of just pure sugar does to a person. You have to wonder, like, what are we doing wrong that, you know, this guy who's lived with elves all his life can do it?
Regardless, the most important thing here is that this is undeniable visual proof that Buddy has these abilities. All in all, Buddy may not be a great elf, but he's absolutely a superhuman. It's clear that he has abilities, whether that's super endurance and stamina from walking that far, or super speed and time manipulation powers from the sheer amount of things he can get done in such little time. But this then begs the question, why? Where did Buddy get these powers and why does he have them? I mean,
Christmas
unless
magic,
the elf
that's all you
universe
have
is
to
secretly
say.
crossing over with the MCU and we have a
God,
mutant
please
here,
no.
there must be some reason for all of this. He had to get these powers from somewhere. Like, say, someone who might need endurance, speed, and time manipulation to, I don't know, fly around the world in a single night? Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but all of the powers we see Buddy use are things that would be very useful to Santa. You know, things he would need to carry out his Santa duties. Super speed to get to every house he needs to visit in one night, time dilation to give himself more time to deliver presents to millions of people worldwide in such a period, super endurance to make sure he doesn't pass out from the physical exertion of all of it. That really stuck out to me while rewatching this movie for this theory, and at first, I wondered if this was Santa sort of training Buddy up to be his replacement, so that he and Mrs. Claus could retire and ride off into the sunset to enjoy some time without worrying about who's been naughty and nice. And believe me, I would have loved to slap "Evil Plan" on a thumbnail in big red text next to Santa for this. After all, Santa knows
Evil
Buddy's
Plan.
entire backstory, who his parents are, where his family is, but doesn't return him? Or even take him back to the orphanage? Instead, Buddy is taken in by Papa Elf, Santa's right-hand man, and gaslit into thinking he's an elf for 30 plus years. Buddy has all of the same powers Santa would need, and is trained on how to maintain Santa's sleigh, perhaps so he could keep it operational out in the field. Something that Buddy straight up does by the end of this movie. Honestly, I thought that was a really compelling twist, but sadly, it just didn't work out. That's just not how Santa is characterized in this movie. He still believes in Christmas, seems to pity Buddy more than take him under his wing, and doesn't really indicate that he did anything to give Buddy powers. I'm guessing that there's just something inherently magical about the
Christmas
North
magic,
Pole that
that's what hell I have to
supercharges
say.
humans like Buddy and Santa. Plus, Santa doesn't do anything to stop Buddy from leaving the North Pole. Not exactly a good move if this is who you see as your ticket to retirement. And yet, here's the thing. That should have been Santa's plan, because Buddy is way better at this whole Christmas thing than Santa is. Let's be real. Santa's been doing this a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
if he's really St. Nicholas, that means he's been doing the whole present delivery thing for basically a couple thousand years. And clearly that's taken its toll on Santa. I mean, sure, he still loves Christmas, but look at how he's characterized in Elf. When he first crash lands in Central Park and Buddy runs up to help him, Santa's first instinct is to threaten Buddy before he recognizes him.
Back off, Slick. Scare the deer.
He complains about having to avoid people photographing him,
Paparazzi have been trying to nail me for years.
and when annoyed, he flat out says that he's too old for this job anyway.
I'm getting too old for this job.
And partially because of this, people have slowly but surely lost the Christmas spirit. And that's a real problem, since in this world, Christmas spirit is like actual magic. It's a resource needed to power
Seriously.
things in the North Pole or to make Santa's sleigh fly.
We have a real energy crisis on our hands. I mean, just see how low the plasmometer is.
There's just no Christmas spirit anymore.
This Santa just isn't up to the job anymore.
God, yeah, it really is. Like, he's gotten too old and tired, and not only is his performance, and also it kind of reminds me of that one Christmas episode Family Guy did where, like, you saw Santa and the elves were, like, sad and they were singing about how Christmas was killing them. Only in this instance, it's kind of reversed, where in the Family Guy one, it was the world killing Santa, and in this one, it's Santa inadvertently killing Christmas because he's just getting so old and tired that he's inadvertently hurting the Christmas spirit just because he's not able to do it as well anymore.
But do you know who is? Who would be able to keep the Christmas spirit alive? Who straight up does that in this movie and saves Christmas? Buddy. Think about it. Buddy would have been the perfect replacement Santa Claus. We've already covered how he has all of the same powers as Santa, and he has the right disposition for the job. He's jolly and jovial, almost annoyingly so, and even Santa knows that he's good at spreading the Christmas spirit.
All they need is just a little Christmas spirit.
I'm good at that.
I know you are.
And by the end of the movie, Buddy even has his own Mrs. Claus and Josie, a woman he met while she was acting like an elf at Gimbel's. And he even comes to visit the North Pole regularly. All in all, Buddy is the perfect replacement for Santa, but old Saint Nick is too stubborn to see it. Come on, Nicholas, sometimes the old guard needs to hang up the hat and let some fresh blood keep the magic alive. Or otherwise, you might just ruin Christmas. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. And a real quick reminder to please...
I swear, if I had... Okay, so just, like, as an aside, I did, on my bingo card for this year, I did not see Film Theory doing a video insinuating that Elf should turn into the Santa Claus, with, like, Santa being a title that's passed down and stuff like that. Again, like, a really good video, and I love and it is kind of sad, you know, in that one version of the world that Santa could be inadvertently causing his own strife just because he's too stubborn to retire. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. So yeah, of course, as always, original will be linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video linked to my game theory reaction, and yeah, with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.